got me for life. Yeah.
I don't need a hand to hold, even when the night is cold. I got that fire in my soul.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be doing a really peachy, kind of orangey, kind of, you know, that whole, peachy kind of trend that's going around right now. We are going to be doing like a kind of like ombre smoky eye, if you will say that. Pretty much this entire look is revolving around my backdrop. So I got this backdrop about 2 weeks ago with the idea and the kind of direction of doing like an orange peachy kind of look, but nothing really came to me. And so I came, today I was kind of lounging around, I took a nap, and I woke up like really revived and refreshed, and I'm like, come on, let's do it. And then I remembered that I had this backdrop, because sometimes I like kind of play around with things and don't really know which direction I want to go. And I remember this fabric and I'm like, that is going to be bomb, because it ombres from like the darker orange to the white. It kind of ombres all the way down. And I just figured that that would be super pretty. So that is the direction that I went with my eye look. I usually like to do dual, two color eyeshadow looks, but I haven't done one in a while, not since my green or even the orange and yellow, whatever, so I decided to bust out my Morphe palette. This is the 35O palette, and I haven't used this in forever, so I decided to pick this up and create this look. So if you have this palette, you will be able to create this entire eye look all together, so that's really exciting. I'm not dabbling within, multiple different palettes or anything like that. This is strictly all out of the Morphe 35O palette, so you will be able to create this. And then for the lip, I just decided to keep it in with the peachy kind of trend look, or the peachy kind of trend, and continue on with that. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and follow me all on my social medias. They'll be here or here. I don't know whichever side I decide to put it on. And I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Please leave me more video suggestions down below, and I will get to you back soon. Bye. Guys, welcome back. So we are going to start by priming our lids, and I am using no other than the Krylon Concealer Circle, and I'm using that to cancel any darkness. Then we're going to go into the Morphe 35O palette, and I'm taking that kind of orangey, kind of like a terracotta color, I guess you could say, and I'm taking that on a Pretty Bar blending brush and just working this into the upper crease area. I wanted to use something that wasn't so dark and so orange, just for that kind of bridge transition shade. So after that, I take the darkest orange shade out of that palette, and I apply this on in my crease with an Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow brush. This is a brush that comes with her palette, and I really start to build this color up until I really feel like it's as intense and as orange as I like it. Then, as always, I go back in with the previous brush and take a little bit more of that orange shade just to blend out the edges. Next, I go into a kind of soft brown shade, and I take a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I work this out into the outer corner, because when I first decided to do this look, I didn't know if I wanted to use any brown at all. I kind of wanted it to be all orange, but I decided to just slowly build up the brown as I go. So I focus that out into the outer corner and then start blending that into the crease as well. Then I take the deepest and the darkest brown shade out of that palette on the very bottom row and take that and just put that out into the outer V of my eye, and then also start to lightly blend that in. I mainly kind of plaque it onto the outer V. Then I take a little bit more orange on that same brush and just blend the two shades together. So now I'm taking a Maybelline Color Tattoo. It's like a cream shadow. This is in the shade Bad to the Bronze. I'm taking that on an F70 concealer brush by Sigma and just mapping out that half cup crease that I'm going to be using to really define my crease and like my eye look. So now I'm using that kind of, it's like a peachy, like a frosty peachy kind of color. It's super pretty. I take that on a Pretty Bar eyeshadow brush and just pack that into the first half of that cut crease kind of lid area that I placed onto my lid. And then I take it's kind of like a coppery orange shade. It's in the very bottom row, and I just take that out into the outer edge, leaving the very outer perimeter with that brown. Like, we don't want to cover up the brown, we just mainly want to focus this on where we applied the eyeshadow base. Make sure to blend the two together so they look a little bit more ombre. And now I'm taking a little bit more brown and just blending the edges on that outer corner. Then I take a little bit of eyeliner. This is the L'Oreal Silk-O-Me eyeliner. And then I take my NYC black liner and I just do a wing liner. Of course, there is still a wing liner tutorial coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. I haven't forgotten about you guys, but pretty much you just want to line your lash line and then create a tail and then just kind of fill in any of the blanks so no eyeshadows peeking through. And for lashes, I'm using my Lena lashes in the style Lala. These are synthetic, but they're so pretty. They look scary, but they're very natural looking, like when you put it on the face. So to prime my skin, I'm using my NYX Angel Veil Primer. I love this primer. The only thing I hate about it is that it makes my skin look really frosty and ashy. Although my skin isn't ashy, so I mainly focus that everywhere on my face just to prime my skin. Then for foundation, I am using my Krylon TV Paint Sticks. First, I'm going in with the 11W. It's the lighter shade of the two. And then I take the shade NG2 and just put those like on the outer perimeter of my face and, you know, where like in between where I place everything else. And then I blend that out with an e.l.f. What is this? An e.l.f. Kabuki brush. I'm not really sure of the name. But the reason I mix the two is because 11W can be a little bit too light and NG2 is way too dark for me right now. It's my perfect summer shade, so I mix the two to get a really nice shade. And then for concealer, I am using none other than my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is in the shade Dark Golden. I place that under my eyes, on my chin, also down the bridge of my nose just to slim that up, and the forehead. I also make sure to drag it up the side of my nose for further highlighting, and then I blend that out with my Beauty Blender, and then I go ahead and set it with my Sacha Buttercup setting powder. Now the way that I like to set my concealer is of course by taking it straight off of the Beauty Blender and pressing it directly into the skin, except for the nose. I do allow my nose to bake a little bit longer so that way it soaks up any excess oils. So for contouring, I'm using the Makeup Geek contouring pans, and this is in the shade Deal Breaker and Scandal. I mix the two. Deal Breaker is warm, warm, and Scandal is cool, so I just mix the two to kind of make my perfect shade. Sometimes I like a cooler one, sometimes I like a warmer one. Most of the times I mix the two. And then next I go into a NYX HD blush. This is in the shade Bronze, and I'm using that on a Pretty Bar brush, and this is my favorite blush ever. Like, I can live in this blush. It is so pretty, and it suits my skin tone so well. And then for highlighting, I use the Carly Bible highlighter out of her eyeshadow palette, and oh my gosh, you guys, this is one of the best highlighters ever. I use it on a BH Cosmetics fan brush, and oh my gosh, look at that highlight. Like, look at it. Like, look at it. Like, I am so glad I decided to buy this palette, because even if I don't use the eyeshadows anymore, I am always reaching for the highlighters for when I'm doing myself or when I'm doing clients or anything like that. Then I just take the blush brush and just blend the edges between the blush and the highlighter so that way it doesn't have a harsh line. And then, you know me, I'm just acting a fool. And then I take that same lighter brown shade and I take a Pretty Bar pencil brush and I just use that to kind of smudge it on the lower lash line. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do eyeshadow on the bottom, but I just decided to go ahead and do it. Just a light dust, and then I take the darker shade and directly right over the top of that, keeping it really tight to the lower lash line, I put that brown shade right over the top just to add a little bit more definition, and then apply mascara off camera. And then for lips, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Lip Liner. This is in the shade Brown, and it's not a really, it's more of like a terracotta reddish brown. It's not like a brown, so I figured it'd go really nicely with the peachy kind of lip gloss that we're going to go in. So I line my lips, then I start to lightly fill it in, rub my lips together, and then I apply the NYX Intense Butter Gloss. This is in the shade Apple Dumpling, and it is way more orange than I expected it to be, but I feel like it really ties in with that outer corner of the eye, that outer color. It ties in with that really well, so I'm glad I went with it. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you go, and also stay tuned to watch another video of mine if this is your first one. I love you all, and I'll see you guys soon. Mwah. Bye.